All right. Here we are, Wednesday Night Modern and
Wednesday Night Modern?
Wednesday Night Standard.
Standard Showdown.
Yeah, Standard Showdown.
This is Standard Showdown.
Standard Showdown here at GameSwap Mason in chilly Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm Zachary West.
I'm Robert Meadows.
And we have a fantastic matchup for you guys here tonight.
Yeah.
Got Brice Sheeler on Jeskai Approach. I'm assuming one of the lists that did well at Pro Tour Ixalan.
Yeah, I can see that.
And Dan Kutzler on Blue-Black Midrange.
Yeah, I know Jake Valentine has been writing about this on Top Decks Productions.
Yeah, I've seen some lists floating around out there with Champion of Wits, Gifted Aetherborn, things like that, just like more of a mid-range list.
Yeah.
Gonti. Not really a controlling package, more like a mid-range package with more creature-based.
Fun fact about Gonti, I actually saw him in a Modern Jund list.
Yeah, actually, there's been some talk going around in the green-black mid-range lists in Modern. Gonti seeing some play. But we're here for the standard. We're here for the standard piles. And looks like Dan Kutzler's going to take a mulligan here.
Yep.
And already, you know, this type of matchup, without any counterspells main deck for Dan, you know, clearly heavily favors Brice.
Yep. I mean, I don't know the exact. I mean, I don't know the exact context of his deck with a blue-black midrange. That could be anything.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know the exact contents. Just assumptions here based on what I've seen floating around with these types of lists.
Yeah.
Brice most likely playing the standard blue-white control, blue-white approach control.
Yep.
And they're splashing red for Harness Lightning and some other removal spells out of the board.
Probably like a Braid.
Yeah, out of the board. Just to give you more early game against the aggressive decks, which tend to be the worst matchups for this type of deck.
Yeah, when playing control decks sitting across from a aggro deck is not the funnest of times at times.
No, it's not. And you do have things such as, you know, Settle the Wreckage that can help you get back into those types of games where they'll tend to overload the board. But like I said, Brice playing this deck with a Harness Lightning, most likely a Braid, and some other number of cards out of his board that will assist in these types of matchups where the opponent tends to overload on some early creatures. Ooh, and he's playing main deck
Torrential
Gearhulk too, which you don't see that often as well.
Yeah, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but the biggest appeal with the Jeskai, the approach decks, basically you had no creatures main deck, so you can have virtual card advantage in essence that you cut off all your opponent's creature removal.
Yeah, that is the big draw to that. Maybe with the addition of early game removal spells of Harness Lightning and whatnot, you would want to play Torrential Gearhulk, as to where, like, if you the other blue-white approach decks, the Torrential Gearhulks would only hit like Settle the Wreckage, or like maybe like a couple of Glimmer Geniuses. Brice gonna pull for 3 here.
Yep, seems solid.
And he draws 3 lands.
I mean, he needs to get that 6th land drop for the Torrential Gearhulk, so it's fine.
He did, yeah, and it is fine.
I mean, he has to get to 7 lands automatically anyways, right?
Yeah.
So it's fine. He has all the lands he needs in this game.
Yeah. So it looks like he keeps a Plane and an Aether Hub. He's got a Harness Lightning and a Settle the Wreckage in his hand, and a Torrential Gearhulk.
And a second Settle the Wreckage now.
Yeah.
So I think he's sitting fine here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think he's just going to play a game where he removes all the minuscule threats out of the way.
The 3 Get the Aetherborns?
Yeah, yeah. Dan has, like, I think Dan has a Hostage Taker in his hand. He has some cards that really aren't very good as of right now.
Ooh, Gonti.
Gonti is good, though.
Yeah, that's going to get censored, I feel like.
That is going to get censored.
Yeah, the good thing about Gonti is typically he can just replace himself.
Yeah, and sometimes you'll hit like your opponent's large threats, like whether they have like a one of Scarab God or something like that. If you're playing against a matchup like that,
yeah,
that part is fantastic. Looks like Brice drew a
Glimmer
of Genius here. Yeah, I was gonna say that's the only thing his hand is really missing, other than win condition, is some sort of card advantage.
Yeah, that'll do it. I mean, Dan does have a Scarab God, and the only way Brice can actually permanently deal with it is
cast out.
Yeah, or countering it.
I guess he could settle the wreckage. He has plenty of main deck ways to deal with Scarab God.
Yeah, but
if Dan were to attack with it as well.
yeah, I think Dan's smart enough not to attack into open mana, into open double white, and two other.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point though, you have to apply some amount of pressure. So it might not be a situation where he wants to, but he has to apply some pressure.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, that's what the 4/4 tokens are for.
Yeah.
If there's any creatures, I mean, there might be some creatures in a graveyard for it to apply.
There's not. I mean, they're his own creatures between the Gonti and the Gifted Aetherborns.
Yeah.
He's also a land away. He's, kind of under the gun here. Like I said, Brice has all this removal in his hand.
I mean, double Death Touch is actually very hard for Gearhulk to swing past with only one removal spell in hand.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. But Brice can also
not do anything.
Yeah, exactly. The Dralco game
benefits
absolutely benefits Brice, yeah. So he's going to opt here and choose to draw the card and allow this Gonti to resolve.
Alright, now Gonti's basically replacing itself here, which is great.
If I'm Dan and I see a copy of Approach of the Second Sun,
I'm snap taking it.
I think I take it, and then I will not cast it for the rest of the game. Because it'll go back onto Brice's deck. It'll go 6 cards underneath Brice's deck. So I don't think I want to cast it, but I would take one of his win conditions and then attempt to just kind of grind him out. Usually the Jeskai versions of this deck don't play like a full 4 copies of this. They play 2 or 3. Obviously I don't know the exact contents of Brice's list, but then if you take one of his win conditions out,
it narrows it down.
Yeah, it will narrow it down, and then you're facing just some removal spell, and then eventually the game will get to the point where like you can cast Scarab God and kind of take over the game. That's where Brice is just sitting there trying to draw his second copy of Approach of the Second Suns.
But do you know what I really want to see Dan do? Cast 2 Approach of the Second Suns on the Gontis.
That would be that would be funny. That absolutely would be funny.
Now we just got to get to 7 mana for Dan here for that to happen.
Here's the problem with that though. Brice can counter it. Brice does have counters. we've clearly seen Brice having counters.
Man, I'm just trying to have this dream happen. Okay?
Yeah, no, I get it. I understand.
Ooh. Maybe this is a counterspell Dan got.
No. I would just let this resolve and like ramp myself up.
I can see that.
Like you don't really care about the Gonti and the Gifted Aetherborn. You know those 2 cards aren't going to do anything fantastic.
Those 2, that Gonti and okay.
Yeah, they're exiled, but he is going to get 2 lands. Like I said, I would just take the ramp at this point. Like I mean, he is playing the mid-range deck with Liliana, Death's Majesty in it as well, and Champion of the Wits.
Hopefully Dan knows those land comes in untapped.
They come in and play tapped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant tapped.
No, I think they're slightly askew. They're fine.
Yeah.
They're fine. He understands.
That's good.
So, like I said,
Alright, cool.
Dan has he has Scarab God, Hostage Taker. It looks like double Hostage Taker. What? I don't think you want a Hostage Taker that Torrential Gearhulk. Brice is.
Oh god!
No, if you're Brice, you let this resolve.
Yeah, so you can activate your Gearhulk whenever you want.
Well, I would just do it at the end of turn and flashback Glimmer of Genius.
That's fair.
Yep. Now he gets his Gearhulk back. Yeah, I didn't really like this play from Dan. Brice has been sitting on multiple cards in his hand for a while now.
Ooh, we see Approach.
I see Approach and
a Disallow.
A Disallow, yeah. What is the thought process here? You just want both those cards. Just take them both.
Wait, did he scry a Disallow to the bottom and drew another one?
Yeah, he drew one anyways. Your deck is trying to tell you something, Brice. You wanted that second Disallow regardless. You have the pressure on the board with the Torrential Gearhulk. You have your other win condition and Approach to the Second Sun.
Yep.
You just cast that Approach and,
get there.
Yeah.
Like basically I would have kept the Disallow personally because I just need to buy like a finite amount of turns.
Yeah, Dan isn't going to be able to resolve a spell here. He's clearly not playing a control deck. He's not going to resolve a spell here that's going to be able to win him the game. Let's say he resolves Scarab God.
Best bet.
Yeah.
Right?
He's not going to be able to kill Brice in a certain amount of time. Yeah, Brice just, he had disallow anyways. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Brice casts Approach to the Second Sun. He has double disallow, near-gutted farmland, another Settle the Wreckage, and Opt in his hand.
I mean, this is the best time for Dan to resolve Scarab God right here.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it's going to be enough. Is that a search for Escanta?
Ooh, this might be enough. Who knows?
Nah. I still think I still think Brice is. I mean, he's got Opt in his hand.
I just want to see if Brice knows he can stifle.
Yeah, I mean, he can disallow these Scarab God triggers too,
Yeah.
and then Brice is gonna, do. I would have main phase Opt.
Ooh.
See if I would have gotten the.
Dan forgot the Scarab God trigger.
Doing it during his upkeep. Hey, he may have a spell he wants to resolve.
No, I mean he drew his card and Brice.
Yeah, I'm saying instead of activating it, he may have had a spell in his hand he would rather cast as opposed to activating Scarab God.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh
yeah, it's the zombies, not Scarab God itself is not a zombie.
That's all. It is not. Yeah, it is not a zombie. Yeah.
All right. Let's see what Brice here does.
I think Opt. Like I said, I liked the main phase Opt. Just so if you say you draw like a Glimmer of Genius, or you draw like that right there, you draw the blue-red blue-red fast land.
All right. Okay. So.
Okay, he's going to disallow the Scarab God activation.
Ooh, champion.
Champion of Wits is fine.
No, it's going to get disallowed.
Okay, well, Brice is just gonna get a little aggressive with these.
I think I actually would have let that champion of Wits.
I would have as well.
Because
I don't think it poses a real threat.
Because now you're setting up an opportunity for Dan to be able to actually internalize it to draw 4 cards instead of 2.
Yeah. Now he draws a Glimmer of Genius. Now you're like I said, sitting pretty on the gravy train.
Yeah, or maybe Dan's just outsmarting us all, and he's actually running Brice out of counterspells. I don't know why. Because he has a counterspell with Gonti.
So with Brice playing Disallow, we can safely assume he probably has 4 of them. He's seen 3.
Wait, didn't he scry one to the bottom too?
Yeah, he scried one to the bottom.
So he's seen all 4.
Yeah, he's seen all 4. We know that doesn't have that unless he has a Supreme Will. If Brice is playing Supreme Will,
I can see that being possible, because Supreme Will lets you dig for the.
Yeah, no. I'm saying he absolutely could have Supreme Will as the card that he has taken with Gonti.
Yeah, those Fatal Pushers are pretty dead.
Yeah, they're not fantastic, I would say.
All right, let's hope. I don't think it's coming up now.
No, it's not.
Wait, so it might come up soon.
I think he's 1 card off. No, he has Approach. There it is. He has Approach. And we're off to game 2.
Listen, what was that card? What was it?
It was Settle the Wreckage.
Oh, well.
I mean, it didn't matter. Like I said, it didn't matter.
It was probably 3 land Settle then.
Brice was like a land away from, a land or 2 away from just being able to pay through the Supreme Will regardless.
True.
All right, so post board.
I expect some. There's counter magic in the blue-black midrange sideboard, right?
Yeah, they play Negate. Most likely he plays some number of Duress too.
Yep, that's pretty strong.
I'm assuming he plays some number of creature removal spells that wouldn't come into this matchup, like Bantu's Last Reckoning or something like that. Against some decks that overload the board.
Oh yeah.
Or they like to bring that in against Teamer Energy too. If I'm Brice, I mean, maybe I bring in my own negates, just to counteract your negates.
Maybe. Dispel's not standard legal anymore.
No, it is not. Unfortunately, actually, thank goodness, because then the approach deck would probably be the best deck in standard.
What about? Do you think Spell Pierce is from Dan's side? Because I don't think the Jeskai approach would be playing Spell Pierce. I could be wrong about that.
No, he most likely would not be playing Spell Pierce. Dan could be playing Spell Pierce. which is fantastic. All right.
Yeah, so also just to let you guys know, we are brought by GameSwap Mason, Ohio. You can find a wide variety of Magic the Gathering singles, sealed product throughout the game's history, as well as video games, movies, tabletop supplies, and board games. We have plenty of table space for you and your friends to come here, do D&D or something like that. And we're located in Route 42 in Redden Road in Mason, Ohio.
Yeah. And don't forget that this and every other match that you see tonight and throughout the week, they'll be available on our YouTube page at youtube.com/Top Deck Production stream. Our YouTube channel is our best resource to find some of your favorite matches and most memorable moments from the stream. Be sure to subscribe there to be notified when we will upload replays from weekly streams. Again, that's youtube.com/Top Deck Productions stream.
Yeah. You can see videos of Zach West's Pro Tour competitor, Pro Tour Ixalan, playing there and losing probably.
You get.
I mean, if you haven't seen the replays enough, where it's Zach West on Ben Eldrazi versus Patrick Aguilar on Grixis Control.
Yeah, yeah. So you don't get to see me losing. You get to see me beating Patrick multiple times, unfortunately.
Like, then wasn't like next time you on the replay again, it was you on Ben Eldrazi and then him on Grixis Shadow?
Yeah, and me beating him again. That one is actually a good matchup. Grixis Control is not a good matchup. Grixis Death Shadow is the reason Bant Eldrazi saw a little slight pickup in popularity there for a little bit. But now that Grixis Death Shadow has kind of been...
It's not like the Teal Zero deck it is.
No, it's going to be... I mean, it picked up popularity this past RPTQ weekend. I saw it multiple times when I was at the RPTQ.
Yeah. You should have been on Abzan.
No, what I should have been on...
Blue-White Eldrazi taxes. If you want to learn more about that, Zach West here has written an article about Blue-White Eldrazi taxes.
I actually played Bant Eldrazi at the RPTQ, expecting more Grixis Death Shadow, but then I got paired against Tron.
Oh.
And then 2 Blood Moon decks.
What Blood Moon decks?
What is that hollowed one? The black-red hollowed one deck?
What? That plays Blood Moon?
Yeah, it plays Blood Moon. Apparently.
Alright.
Apparently it played Blood Moon main deck because I lost to game 1.
Alright.
And then lost to that, Green-Black Tron. And then I lost to, what is that other Blood Moon deck? The one that powers it out. What's the Spirit Guide?
Sun and Moon or All in Red?
Sun and Moon, yeah.
That deck still sees play?
Yeah, apparently. You'll see whatever at an RPTQ, apparently.
I mean, the only guy I know that plays Sun and Moon is because...
You're talking about Peter?
Yeah, like, he only plays it because that's the only deck he has, right?
No, he has multiple modern decks. He just
does?
likes that deck. Yeah, yeah. No, I know multiple people that plays that. All right, we're off here to game 2.
Oh, I see a Duress. Hopefully, Dan doesn't have the mulligan here.
Yeah, I saw Duress too. But it looks like both players are going to take mulligan.
I wonder if they're going to do a gentleman. I wonder. So I don't even know this, but I wonder if they're going to draw and just go to 7 again.
No, I don't think you can do that.
You actually can.
You can do that in sanctioned play?
Yes, you can.
You can do that at... Okay, maybe at like this REL, but you don't legitimately think you can do that competitive REL.
I mean, you can. People just don't do it. You can ask your opponent if you just want to draw this game and go to game 3.
No, you're saying like okay, he's saying you want to draw. Okay. Yeah, you can do that.
What do you think I meant?
You just agree to go back to 7. I was legitimately disgusted. I was like, there's no actual fathomable way. Maybe if you and your opponent are like each mulliganing down to 3, and you're just like, whatever, let's just draw this game and go back to 7.
Yeah, that's what I meant. You just like draw game 2 and go to game 3.
Yeah. Ooh, Brice kept a hand here with 5 lands and a Glimmer of Genius.
I mean, I don't blame him, honestly. Now, here's why for Brice, because his game's going to go long, and but this game, from what Brice saw, seems like it's going to go a while anyways, so he just want to make sure he can hit his land drops.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine, and like Glimmer of Genius is the one card that you would want through this. Then Dan negates it, and you just draw some more lands, and then you probably lose. Although that would be an aggressive negate.
Yeah. So I can only speak from control mirrors, not like mid-range deck negating. I can see reason why a mid-range deck would want to negate a Glimmer.
If you're on the so say you're on Dan's side.
All right.
You're on the play, and you have an aggressive start, and your opponent hasn't done anything other than play lands. Then I could see like a situation where you'd want to aggressively negate, and I would only do that if you have multiple negates in your hand and you're not doing anything else other than be super aggressive.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's the only situation where I could, advocate for that, but I don't foresee that happening. Looks like Dan's probably going to cast a Champion of Wits here.
Yeah, I think he just wants to be able to, like, on curve play that Liliana. And I think he was playing around with Sensor last turn as well.
He was. He absolutely was. And then, so he's probably not going to play this Liliana on curve.
I mean, is that a Kitesail Freebooter?
Kitesail Freebooter would be fantastic. It is really good in this matchup.
Oh, yeah.
A little less so against the Jeskai approach because they do play spot removal, but still.
You can just take the spot. That seems counterproductive.
I mean, yeah. It's not like Tidehull Sculler where if they remove it on the stack, it exiles that card from their hand permanently.
Yeah.
If they remove the Kitesail Freebooter, then they just look at your hand and take something and it goes right back. So,
I mean, it's good they've started doing new templating because we saw what happened when they reverted old templating for one card.
Yeah. Okay, so it looks like Dan discarded the Kitesail Freebooter and an island.
Yeah, I agree with that because I think he's starting to realize that this Freebooter. Oh. Dive down?
Dive down. Look at that. Limited Powerhouse dive down.
Oh, baby.
Taking, keeping this Gifted Aetherborn alive.
I think I agree with that play from Dan here, because I think he just wants as much pressure on the board as possible.
Yeah, I mean, not to say that it's a lot of pressure. It's keeping a clock alive, we'll say that.
I mean, this is a 3-turn clock now.
I mean, beyond this point. At that point, it was a 4-turn clock.
I mean, you're right.
If he had another land in this...
Ooh, this is... Actually, I kind of like... So, I actually kind of like just jamming Liliana here.
I don't.
So, but hear me out. Here's the reason why I kind of like it. So, you want to throw this in open counter magic.
Okay.
And your opponent hasn't doing anything much so far.
So their hand is full of counter magic more than likely. Like if they're not playing proactive spells, they're probably playing. They probably have a handful of counter magic and maybe their win condition, which is true. That's exactly what Brice has. I mean, it didn't really matter because you're playing. The part about it that stinks is that you're playing it into a sensor, as opposed to like a hard counter magic spell.
Yeah. So now
which is
Dan doesn't know, but we know Brice still has a disallow.
Yeah, I mean he has a disallow, but it doesn't have any like removal for this aggressive start. Ooh, a Scarab God again. That's gonna get disallowed. But what this does is it prevents Brice from being able to like opt and do anything else at the end of turn.
Yeah, like that's the whole reason why I liked Dan just like jamming threat. So
yeah, but here's the issue. Dan has no cards in his hand.
True. So now he's top decking.
I mean, if he draws a negate here.
That's hot.
Yeah, it's good. Then Brice is forced to like he's gonna be forced to play his approach from the second sun. Then if Dan draws a negate here, he's he loses this game.
All right, so Brice is scrying at the bottom.
He's gonna scry at the bottom, draw a card. Looks like he draws a Torrential Gear Hulk.
That seems pretty good.
It does, but again. Maybe Dan has nothing. Oh. That is a card that is going to resolve. And it's going to bring back either Scarab God or it's going to make a 2/2 zombie.
I think it's going to bring back Scarab God.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I do.
I like that plan. I mean, Scarab God is not going to do a lot on this board. It's just going to do stuff.
Like, it doesn't exile it and become a copy. It just legitimately brings it back. So if Brice were to, like, say, wrath the board with like say Fumigate,
Mm-hmm.
then it gets returned to his hand anyway, so it's fine. It's completely fine. Ooh, no 7th land there for
Settle the
Brice.
Wreckage, though.
Probably wants to put that as second approach, but I would keep that Settle the Wreckage on top.
Oh, yeah.
Keep the Settle Wreckage on top, put the approach on the bottom, see if you draw 7th land. Nope, just an opt. Which is still fine. Cast that at the end of turn. See if you can draw that 7th land. And he does not. Well, he could. He puts that card on the bottom, draws a Harness Lightning. Okay, so now you have Spot Removal spell plus Settle the Wreckage.
Yep.
Which is the equivalent of a Wrath. Are there any creatures in the graveyard?
No.
Kitesail Freebooter.
Oh my, let's go. So if he activates Freebooter right now, I think Dan just wins the game.
I wouldn't say wins the game.
Well,
he takes a Settle the Wreckage, but like Brice can Harness Lightning, get back the Settle the Wreckage, and then Settle the Wreckage when
yeah,
Dan
okay,
swings
yeah,
out.
you're right.
But you
I
need
got
to do
excited.
this with the trigger on the stack to be able to get that Scry as well. Scrying into a negate would be fantastic.
I like this swinging the Aetherborn and Champion.
I don't. I think you want to return Kitesail Freebooter
Yep.
prior to swinging out like that, because you could have put him dead.
True.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of activating during your upkeep, being able to get that Scry in. But now, what Brice has done...
What has he done?
He's given Dan enough mana to double activate his Scarab God too.
But with only one creature in the graveyard, that doesn't seem
Yeah,
helpful.
not with Liliana on the field.
Oh, yeah.
Keep milling yourself.
All right, so I think we're just going to uptick Lily here.
Yeah, uptick Lily. See what we can get. Activate at the end of turn. Get back Kitesail Freebooter.
Yeah, don't you mill the top two? Okay, there we go.
So you mill the top two. Don't hit a... No.
You hit another Lily, the third Lily.
You hit another Lily. That's fine. You're still going to activate at the end of turn.
And a Brice's turn, right?
Yeah, and at Brice's turn. See what Brice does. Brice is not able to play his Approach to the Second Sun if he does draw a land, though. So he gets a zombie. That'll give him another trigger to be able... Ooh. I don't like doing this during your second main. I think you want to do this either during Brice's draw step or at the end of Brice's turn.
I can see that.
What this does, though, is he does get a zombie that will trigger with Scarab God to be able to drain Brice.
Yep. So
he's going to do this with the trigger on the stack. He will be able to take a look at Brice's hand, but still. Not fantastic. This is why I said it's better to do this during Brice's turn, so that he has to use this mana.
Yeah, I totally see that.
So now Brice is just going to do this.
The Kitesail Freebooter is technically exiled. Just
yeah. The Kitesail is. We'll let him know that it is exiled. He's going to take a look at his hand, see a handful of, straight up gasoline.
C3H8.
Again, we'll let him know that Kitesail Freebooter is actually exiled and not in his graveyard.
Yep.
There's that 7th land.
So, do you just jam the approach here? Because I really don't know.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you'll go up to 11. No, you're dead. If you jam the approacher, you're dead. The reason being that Brice can activate his hostile desert and kill Brice. Because he takes one from the zombie trigger.
Yep.
So he takes 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, plus the drain is 11. Yeah. There's no way that he can legitimately play that approach to the Second Sun.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
Well.
Oh. I mean, Dan has to see he has lethal.
I mean, he has to see that he has lethal. Or remember that he has a hostile desert.
I've forgotten my manlands before.
I mean, yeah. If I'm Brice, I would much rather just hold up Torrential Gearhulk there. It's not like he has to do this out of desperation. He has Gearhulk settle the wreckage.
Yeah.
All right, so it goes down to 10.
Yeah, Scry one, Dan.
Scry that 1. If it's a negate, plop that thing into your hand. I mean, it doesn't really, like I said, it doesn't really matter. As long as Dan sees that he has lethal right here. Alright.
Why is he at 9?
What else did he get drained from?
Oh, Scarab got a zombie.
Oh, yeah, Lily made this Scarab God a zombie, excuse me. Took a strain for 2. Like I said, it doesn't, like, that's negligent. As long as it was 1 or more damage, then Brice is dead.
Alright, Dan. I believe in you, Dan.
Dan just has to, you know, activate this manland. There it is. Yay. Got it. Alright, so we're going to go to game 3 here.
Alright. Alright, I don't think Brice saw the manland.
Yeah, I don't think he came to the realization that he was going to take 3 from the manland. Maybe he just thought he was going to take 2 from that, and then down to 7 with no creatures in the graveyard, he'd be alive.
I can see that.
Okay. All right. And while the players are sideboarding, we'd like to remind you to check us out on all the social media. You know, Twitter, we're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Are we on Tinder?
We are on Tinder
Yes!
and Grindr.
Yes, I love Grindr.
We also, you know, we have our own website now. You know, like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Top Deck Productions. You'll be able to find out when we're streaming. You know, as a friendly reminder, if you like what you're watching and want to help us make it even better, you can. Be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Top Deck Productions. Every dollar donated goes to improve the quality of the stream. I can get my sex change operation.
Same.
Robert can finally get, you know, his face fixed. He usually has to sit around in a paper bag. It's disgusting. You know, help us out here. Don't forget,
had no surgery.
Don't forget that you can directly subscribe to us here on Twitch, which of course is twitch.tv/Top Deck Productions. And Amazon Prime members, you can use your, you know, free monthly Twitch subscription. Don't forget about that.
Yep.
And to those of you that already donate and subscribe,
Thanks.
thank you. We appreciate it. You know, we're literally about 3 subscribers away from Robert getting his face changed.
Yeah, we need it, man. Like, I already had no surgery. I had plastic surgery before I was a year old. I need it.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I mean, it's disgusting. And really, Robert and I are going to get our faces changed like the movie Face Off. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie.
I feel like I should, but I haven't.
It has Nicolas Cage in it and John Travolta.
You had me at Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, they're one of them's a mob boss, the other one works for, I can't remember if it's the CIA or FBI. Regardless, they switch faces. That's all you need to know.
So basically, the CIA agent is now the mob boss, and the mob boss now a CIA agent.
Yeah, well, the CIA agent wants to become the mob boss. They can infiltrate the organization. And then the mob boss wakes up after the surgery. He doesn't have a face, and then he, you know, holds the guy at gunpoint, makes him put the face back on him, so then he becomes a CIA agent. Messes with his family, things of that nature. It's a good flick.
I saw Friday recently.
The original Friday.
Yeah.
It's a good movie too.
Yeah. Bye, Felicia.
With Smokey.
Yeah, Smokey.
You remind me of Smokey, Robert. All right.
I'm not surprised.
Just a little bit out there. Anyways, back to this.
We're shuffling.
Yeah. Brice's deck is more likely to change on the play versus the draw as opposed to Dan, just because Dan could be more aggressive on the play.
Yep.
That's where if Brice is on the play, then he has a turn 2 removal spell, things of that nature. He's more likely to side out more of the turn 2 removal spells because Dan's deck isn't as aggressive as most decks. So,
yeah.
Although he probably didn't change it, there's just more likelihood that he could.
I don't think they sideboard at all. If I'm being honest.
Like I said, he could have just not sided.
Oh, they did?
They both sideboarded.
I'm wrong.
Yeah, see, there you go. Looks like Dan has a negate in his hand.
And a hostage shaker, I think. See.
Yeah. Can't take out all the bad cards in the matchup. Like I said, I don't think hostage shaker is very good. Although hostage shaker is good as a follow up to champion of wits. So you play your champion of wits, you know, draw 2, discard 2, attack, play a hostage taker, exile your own champion of wits. That way it's wrath proof, and then if you want to, you can recast the champion of wits. I do like that line.
Oh yeah, I do too. And if you do get wrath, you get your champion wits back.
Yeah, exactly.
Now I feel like this. Ooh.
Kite Sail Freebooter is going to get censored.
This might
100% getting censored.
I mean, I feel like this is a threat you do get censored. So would you, if Well, do you want your gifted Aetherborn or Kai'Sail Freebooter censored?
Probably gifted Aetherborn. Like,
Yeah.
Kitesail Freebooter is much, much, much better in this matchup. And I feel like that's what Dan should have led with. Like, as opposed to this gifted Aetherborn. Like, the gifted Aetherborn doesn't matter.
The information you get from Kai'Sail is a lot more valuable than just a 2/3 body. Because
Yeah.
it's the same amount of clock and you're not really worried about your life. The only benefit the gifted Aetherborn have is like it's able to actually kill a Gearhulk.
Like, it's able to kill Gearhulk. Like,
That's the only thing I can think of.
I mean, Dan was aggressive last game, which is fine. But, and that's how you're going to win this. But I feel as if taking a crucial piece out of Brice's hand, say whether it was a Glimmer of Genius or a Settle the Wreckage or a Fumigate or an Approach, like being able to take a piece out of his hand like that is more... it helps out your game plan more.
It's okay, we got another freebooter, guys.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, commit to memory, Settle the Wreckage, negate
So
Gearhulk, and then an island.
I think we just get to settle here. Because, like, I don't think you care about your freebooter being committed.
I mean, let's settle this debate. Absolutely, you take that damn Settle the Wreckage. I mean,
yeah, you just take settle
Brice
here.
is going to read that commit to memory, but there's a 0% chance that he actually takes it. I mean, he could at the end of turn bounce the Kitesail Freebooter and then gets back to Settle the Wreckage.
Yeah, then Dan does not attack for a turn.
I mean, he's able to play around it, though.
Yeah, like, settle becomes a lot worse when your opponent knows about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. But Brice has a really good card in Torrential Gearhulk.
I like that card.
I do too.
Fat Caster Mage for the win, boys.
All right. No, Dan's having this issue where he's not drawing a lot of lands.
All right.
So I feel like he should probably just play that Champion of Wits and try to draw some lands.
Or he might just try to protect his board as is, but that seems very awkward.
I mean,
he knows about the torrential.
Yeah, I mean,
ooh, I like this.
Draw 2 cards.
Yeah,
bam,
I negate
bam.
that.
Thank you, ma'am. Get that out of here. You're gonna get negated. All right. Still, Brice has to draw a 6th land.
Which he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. He draws a Glimmer of Genius.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah. So there's 2 unknowns to Dan in his hand. He knows he has Commit to Memory, and he has
Torrential
Gearhulk. If I'm Brice, I think I like just like jamming the like there's no. Is there a 4-drop that he's worried about? You know?
Gonti?
Beyond that, like, I think you just kind of want to hit your land drops right here. Yeah, it was a situation where he just wanted to.
Is he committing the champion?
Yeah, I think he is. Aggressive. Really aggressive.
All right.
I think I would prefer to Glimmer, though, there. I don't think the Champion of Wits is actually. Like, yeah.
I think, like, he's just trying to really stop Dan's tempo.
Yeah, I mean, get that. Guess what he can do now, though?
Gearhulk. Draw 7 cards.
Yeah, he can. Well, they both draw 7 cards.
But it's a lot more advantageous for Brice because he gets to use his 7 cards first.
Yeah, I mean,
hopefully
he does get to use his 7 cards first, yes. But then Dan's most likely not mana screwed anymore. He's probably gonna draw some number of lands in that 7. So I'm not the biggest fan in the world. On the flip side, he could just Glimmer of Genius. You know, at the end of turn.
Yep.
Keep that Disallow in hand and the Gearhulk to flashback Disallow.
Dan's not scared.
Not scared.
I ain't scared.
Let's see how
Brice does this.
I mean, he is taking a little bit of a beating here too. He's down to 9.
Yeah, that. Freebooter's a 1/2, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's more than, you know, it's not very likely that he's going to just be able to win with this 1 Gearhulk, especially with Dan at 28.
Yeah. Like, he still has, like, he can just block with a Gifted Aetherborn, and as long as, like, Dan has an Aetherborn, he has a blocker with a Gearhulk.
Yeah.
I mean, Dan could have an Essence Scatter and just, like, mind blow us all right here.
I mean, I have seen some of these mid-range decks play Essence Scatter. I doubt that Dan is playing his in his current list. And if he was, he's more than likely he sided it out. It's not. He's not going to leave it in for just the Gear Hulks.
All right, going to 6. I like it. Not really. Is this the third champion? Or oh, wait, no. Yeah, he drew a champion.
He drew the champion from the commit to memory. Ooh. You know he has Gear Hulk in hand. I would aggressively negate this.
Yeah.
I think.
I agree with you here.
You're just sitting there doing nothing. What is Brice going to resolve? Especially if you negate this Glimmer of Genius here. You know he has Gear Hulk.
And like basically force him in a situation if he wants more cards, he can either let you draw 7.
Yeah.
Or okay, yeah, I like that play.
Like I do too. You leave Brice with just Gear Hulk in hand. He's able to negate. He's able to like flashback memory. He's able to flashback Glimmer.
Wait, I just realized how awkward this Gear Hulk is since Freebooter has flying. I just now realize that. I'm sorry.
Well, like, yeah, it can block the Gifted Aetherborn and trade. Again, not great at all.
I just realized how awkward this is. I'm terrible.
All right. I mean, you could put Brice down to 3 here. Brice has, a really hard decision here. Do you just sit here and you just trade with this? I mean, at this point, he's kind of allowed this to happen. He could have committed to memory the Kitesail Freebooter and gotten back to settle the wreckage.
He could have done this a long time ago.
I mean, they put him out of his misery a long time ago. And really, then you remove their pressure. Dan's been stuck on 3 lands here for a while.
Yeah.
You've really kind of allowed Dan to just draw into the situation where he has more cards in hand than you.
And, like, Dan has a grip full of cards, and, like
I said, yeah, that's what I said. Like, Dan has a grip full of cards. He's allowed him to draw, he's allowed Dan to draw himself into this situation. Oh, he does. He does have Essence Scatter. He left in the Essence Scatter just for this Gear Hulk.
Sorry for the laugh, folks. I'm loving this.
Now he's forced Brice into a situation where Brice has to draw
approach or something.
Yeah, how much does commit or memory cost? To
7? No, 6.
Cost 6 to flashback, I believe. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, GG's.
Okay.
You can win with 3 lands here, folks.
Yep. Yeah. Dan was playing Blue-Black Delver, don't you know?
He's playing a little bit of a tempo game there with Negate and the Essence Scatter, and you can see the sadness on Brice's face. Brice, you can come back here and give Zach a hug.
I don't know.
He's contemplating what he did wrong there. I think he was a little too complacent with just allowing these, 3 a turn is a clock.
Yeah, like...
I mean, it's not a fast clock, but eventually there's a point where it's a realistic clock. I think committing to memory the champion wits there during that turn, not what you wanted to be doing.
I think you should have committed, like, the freebooter there.
Yeah, he absolutely should have committed the freebooter.
Like,
and there was also a turn where he could have played that Gear Hulk, where Dan was tapped out. He should have just allowed a champion to resolve, discard, then you play that Gear Hulk, flashback memory, bada bing, bada boom.
Roll with the punches.
Yeah, then you're back in this. You draw 7 cards.
I mean, so at most, Brice could have flashback memory and got a Harness Lightning to give himself a turn. Because he had a land, he had Glacial Fortress, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it didn't matter. Like he put himself in a situation where he was behind. That's where he could have been proactive, a lot of champion resolve, which didn't really do anything. He was too aggressive in trying to delay Dan from drawing mana sources.
Yeah, like sometimes that's right to do it. Sometimes you got to realize, hey, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, eventually you're at a point where you're like, okay, I'm behind in my resources. I need to do something that affects the resources and affects this board, because not only was Dan ahead on resources, he was ahead on cards. He was ahead on life and threats. So yeah, Brice had to deal with the threats and the fact that he was behind on resources. So, all right, that was the last match. We're about to get round 2 here started very, very shortly.
All right, and see you guys then.
See you guys then.